Hi, I'm Brett Watwood. I'm going to be your instructor for EDU6323. So welcome to EDU6323. Technology is a medium for learning. Let me spend a little time going over the course with you. And first of all, welcome. As I said, I am Brett Watwood. I'm also at bwatwood on Twitter. I have an email address at Northeastern. I blog. I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook. I'm all over the web. I have a digital identity, as do each of you. Part of what we will address in this course is how all of us have some form of digital identity, and in this modern era, when we think about technology for learning, 9 times out of 10, it has some implication with the web. So the focus of this course will be on the web for learning. Welcome to the internet. Now let me just spend a little time just going over the course itself. The outcomes are really to spend some time exploring, to look at lots and lots of processes in the web and how they might be used for learning. As part of that, we will be exploring the ethical use and getting you to assess the value within your own specific educational or training needs. And we will collaboratively do this. We will learn from each other. In some ways, this emulates exactly what we're talking about, using the web for learning and using it in a collaborative way. There are interesting questions posed when you examine the web for learning. What does the research say? Can tech be used to further cognition or motivation? Can tech enhance learning design? We will explore all of these as the course unfolds. We're going to be using Michelle Miller's book, Minds Online, which in some ways is focused on online learning. And yet, if you think about it, learning on the web is online learning. Online learning is a part of almost every educational facet today, whether you're talking about K-12, higher education, or corporate training. I joke with some faculty that all courses today are online. It's just a question of whether the teacher is or not. The students definitely are. So I think aspects of this book are a good one to underlay what we're looking at. Michelle looks at aspects of attention, memory, thinking, motivation, and how some of that plays into multimedia. All that will be aspects we'll look at. And each week, as we look at different processes for learning, we'll be using Michelle's book as a kind of underpinning for that. So if you look at the course flow, we're going to start out with learning in a networked world. And then we'll have about 9 weeks of very specific aspects of learning, like web technology, like blogging, searching, tagging, screencasting, virtual and augmented reality, polling. But you will notice behind this, I have kind of a big circle with attention, memory, thinking, and multimedia. These are aspects of Michelle Miller's book that we pull into these areas of interest. And then the last couple of weeks, we'll look at the idea of a personal learning network and steps we should use to move forward. We will be doing much of our work in Blackboard that you're used to, but we'll also be stepping outside of Blackboard. Every week we'll be using Twitter as a kind of tweet up, and I think you'll find that's a lot of fun. We'll also be using Digo over a 4-week period, and I'll talk more about that in a minute. I'm going to recommend that you use either TweetDeck or Hootsuite to pull together your hashtag EDU6323 tweets. And I'll show that in a second too. But that's an important tool for managing things on the web. I used to use a closed Facebook group in addition to Blackboard for discussions, but I've stopped using Facebook in this course due to the scandal last year regarding data mining. I no longer think I can morally ask you to set up a Facebook account if you don't already have one, and the scrutiny around privacy is something we'll explore on multiple platforms. So let's take a look at some course tools. As I noted, we'll be using Twitter during this course, and TweetDeck and Hootsuite make managing tweets much easier. You can pick one or the other, don't use both, but I happen to like TweetDeck. And this happens to be my TweetDeck and what it looks like. So you can see here's some home tweets of people I follow. Anyone that sends me a tweet that shows up under notifications, like Sarah and Kirk did here. I then follow several hashtags. And so, here's hashtag for our class, EDU6323, or the hashtag for EdTech, or the hashtag for the class I just finished teaching, EDU6333. Setting up a column, and it's just as easy as going into the search and typing in this hashtag. That will automatically set a column up for you. But setting up these columns makes it easy to spot any tweets that someone else in the class sends, like when Sarah sent this one to the class the last time I taught it. And it doesn't matter whether you're using EDU6323 uppercase or lowercase, it still comes through. Digo is a social bookmarking tool. I've been using it for a decade now and have about 7,000 websites organized by tags, like social media or e-learning or tools. You can see a series of tags over here. When you bookmark a website, as I did with the Nicholas Carr article, Is Google Making Us Stupid?, I can put in a number of tags to save that. So I use Google, Cognition, EdTech, Network Learning, and the class. But I also went down and clicked the box under More Options to share to a group, and I shared it to the group EDU6323. This is a group we'll use over a 4-week period to collaboratively collect resources around certain topics and share them with each other. And you will use these shared articles in one of your papers. So a mix of tools inside and outside of Blackboard. And there are other tools we'll look at as we specifically look at technology for learning. There are some things you can do this first week besides watch this video. You will need to set up some accounts if you do not already have them in Twitter, Digo, and either Hootsuite or TweetDeck. Sometimes it's a good idea to set up a dummy email account just to use for setting up these accounts so you don't get spammed down the road once you have set up an account. If you've not had me before, you will recognize rather quickly that I use a process called PIE, or PIE, to organize my weekly lessons. PIE stands for Preparation, Interactions, and Evaluation. And this comes out of St. Leo University down in Florida. They've been doing this for about a decade, and I really like the idea for an online class. So you'll see when you look at the class that I've organized each week under these 3 folders. Preparation is basically setting the stage. Get you to think about what's coming up, what are the learning objectives, what are the things we have to do each week. I give you a pretty detailed task list for that. Interactions is where you do things. You interact with content, interact with each other, interact with me. And evaluation is basically how you're graded. So it's pretty straightforward, and this is a nice organization for the class. Sometimes I throw in a just for fun item. Not every week, but a few times. You've probably seen something like this in several of your classes, but I believe it's a good process. There's a flow to all online classes, and this one tends to run Monday to Sunday. In this particular class, by Thursday, you at least have started some tweet conversation in Twitter. You will do your discussion posts usually by Friday, but check the schedule. It changes every now and then. And that will be in the preparation section if it does change. The discussion is the main thing you're doing in this class on a week-to-week basis, sharing and reflecting on discussion boards. There's going to be other assignments, and those are typically due on Sunday. Also, between Thursday, Friday, and Sunday, you'll be responding to your classmates on both Twitter and discussion boards. I'll talk more about that in a minute. Some major assignments in this particular class. You'll notice first is weekly participation. If you do the tweets and weekly posts and comments, that's 25% of your grade right there. In week 3, we're going to explore searching on the web, and you'll be doing a search and then writing a short paper synthesizing what you learned about searching. And then, as I said, we're going to do about a 4-week process using Digo to curate web resources and thinking about what that might mean. And you'll actually use those resources to write an analysis of Web 2.0 through Miller's lenses of attention, memory, and thinking. So between the Digo resource and the analysis, you're going to get some pretty good use of that tool. And finally, we're going to be looking at making some content, and you'll actually be creating a short screencast and sharing that. You'll also be updating one of your lesson plans or a lesson plan you find to put in some of the things we do in this class and demonstrate how you might use them. So that's the course in a nutshell. Now, one final point. I mentioned the weekly routine of tweeting by Thursday, posting by Friday, and following up your tweets and comments by Sunday. If you wait till late on Sunday to begin following up, you're not giving your classmates time to respond back to you and you time to respond back to them. And that's what it's meant by dialogue. And I'll take that into account when grading participation. I expect in both Twitter and Blackboard discussions that you will respond to questions I or your classmates pose, and that you will respond back when people comment and tweet to you. And that means that you have to begin following up well before Sunday night. My recommendation is post by Friday, but start some of your follow-ups on Saturday so that you have time on Sunday to do re-follow-ups or clarifications. And then I think you'll find that actually makes this course much more meaningful for you. I designed this course so that we learn together, and I'm a big believer in networked learning. We're going to be using the web to find things, share things, and learn together. And that's what makes learning on the web so interesting today. It is a very social process. So look forward to that and use that to your advantage. So I think that pretty well gives you a rundown of the course. I'm looking forward to it. I always have fun in this course, and I'm looking forward to getting to know each of you better. So see you on the web.